Okay, so now our activity is created. Update node activity is created. So we have to go to into the XML. So XML would be same as the create node. Okay, so we just need to change the context into update node, and then within the update node we have to get this edit text. So edit text node text. Okay, and then we will also use the bundle, so we will create the object here. Okay, now node text equals to edit text, and then we just need to find the id of node text. Okay, and then unpacker equals to get intent that get extras, and then we will set the text to this node text using unpacker dot get string, and the string is node. Okay, and then we will set the selection for this edit text, so we will get the length of the node. Okay, now we need a menu here, so on create. Okay, so on create options, and then we need options selected on options selected. Okay, now we need to create a menu, or we can use this create menu, or because it will be the same. Okay, so if you want a different menu, you can create your own menu resource file. I will use this create menu here. Okay, and then if the item which is selected has the id equals to save. Okay, then we will generate the request. Okay, first we will check. Okay, so first we have to get the node text string from the edit text, and then we will check if the node text string is empty. So we will use this text util class. Okay, if it is empty, then we will generate the toast, and we'll say please enter something, and then we will show it. Okay, and if we have something to save, then we will generate the string request. Okay, so request equals to new string request, and request method is post, and then the URL is a base URL, so we have to go to storeroom dot base URL plus okay, so the URL for update node is update node. Okay, so update node dot php, and the third parameter is the response listener, and then the fourth parameter is the error listener. Okay, and then we also need to pass the value, so we will use the get params here. Sorry, now we need to create our map. Okay, so the map will have string. Okay, and then we need to give it a name, so new hash map. Then we will put the value within the map. So the first value is the text. Okay, and the second value is the id. Okay, so this is what this update node expect from us, text and id. Okay, so we need to give id and then text, and the text is the node text string, and the id is from unpacked.get int and id. Okay, so then we need to concatenate a space so that it can be it can be used as a string. Okay, now we need to add this request to request handler. So request handler dot get the instance okay, and then just add this to the request queue. And then if we received any error during the updation of nodes, so we will show the error. And if we are successful, then we will okay, so if we are successful, then we will say that node updated, and then we will finish this activity. Okay, and now in the view node activity, we have to change this view node to update node. Okay, and then we need to finish this activity from here. So we just need to finish this activity. Okay, okay, now within this main activity, so let's try the application now. Okay, so if you have watched my video for noteApp with Firebase, within the Firebase we have listeners. Okay, so whenever the database values are changed, those listeners have methods, and those methods get called. Okay, so but since this is our own database, our own server, so and we didn't make any those listeners. Okay, so if the database values are changed, then it will not update our views accordingly. Okay, so like in the Firebase, whenever there is a new data added within the database, on child added method was called. Okay, but in here, when the new data is added, will be added into the database, no such method will be called. So and since we are using this logic, okay, so this reader logic, we are using this on create. So when the new record will be added, it will not be shown unless or until we do not call this method again. Okay, so I can show you some example. Now just save this one. Okay, so node is saved, but it is not visible into this view. Okay, so and this is because we don't have any listeners, and we don't have any method or mechanism in which our application can knows that the value in the database is changed, or it is deleted or updated or added. Okay, so we will face these issues. Similarly, if I remove this value from here, okay, so node will be deleted. Of course it will be deleted, but we don't have any listeners, or we don't have any way of tracking these operations. So unless or until we do not force to update our views, they will remain same. So now if I reopen my application, let me just remove it from this recent activities. Okay, so now there note some example is present which was created at 8:20, and now it is 8:21. Okay, but the other node, we have two nodes before. Okay, so the other node that we deleted is deleted from here. Okay, but since we don't have any mechanism of tracking the operations of database, so it was present in our view, in our recycler view, and now we have now our activity is created again, and on create method is called again. So the value is removed from here. Okay, so another way in which we can do or we can which will be better is if we call this resume method. Okay, so if we call this method resume in our we call this reader method in our resume. Okay, so and then I guess we should okay, so we do not need to paste these line here. If we do this, then every time the activity is resumed, a new adapter will be called, and new adapter will be set. So we don't want this. Okay, so we only want to read this data, because within this, if a data is changed, or every time a data is changed, then adapter, okay, so we notify the data set change if there is a new data. Now we just need to make sure that our node model is clear. Okay, so if we do not call this clear method onto the node models, now our node model has two models. Okay, so if I go into this activity, or this main activity is resumed. Okay, it is on past state. Now if I go back, this main activity, the resume method of this main activity is called, because activity is resume. So we in the previously we had two models, so now we are again reading the data from the database. So our models, if we commented this line, okay, if we do not write this line, then two extra or two more repetition or redundant data will be in our node model array list. Okay, so we don't want this behavior, we only want, okay, so we should remove the previous models, and then we should add the new model, or the data which we are calling again from the database. Again, this is not efficient way of doing the thing. The best way is to implement the file-based messaging, okay, FCM, or any other messaging technique that you want on your server, so that whenever a data is changed in the database, or the server sends all, and the server sends the updated data, or the server sends the message to the connected application, so that they can update their views. Okay, so this is again not the best way, but for a while we will use this method. Okay, so now our, okay, so here our view activity is working fine, so just try to delete this node. Okay, so we have some error, so just view the logcat. Okay, okay, so the error is null is not for an application. Okay, so view node 96. Okay, so this line is not working, so we can use it this way: alert dialog equals to, and this is box. Okay, so we have to use box dot create, and then we can use this in this way. So let's just hope this time it works. Okay, so now try to open the update activity. Okay, so activity is app is installing, so just wait. Okay, so we click on delete, it is again causing some error. Okay, so let's try this update node. Okay, so some value, now let's say 1 2 3, something like this. Okay, so node is updated. Now we need to remove the activity from the recent application, and then we will again call this. Okay, so the node is not actually updated. Okay, so we have to check our database. Okay, so the node is not updated within the database, so we have some issue. Okay, so we have two issues to resolve. The first issue is with okay, so just try to view the logcat again. Okay, so the logcat says token null is not for an application. Okay, so we have guess this is causing some issue. Can change it to this. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so in the last time when I was working, so I passed this get application context to this alert dialog or builder constructor, so it was causing me some errors. So I changed it into this, and this context was working fine. So let's hope if it's worth this time. Okay, so now the issue is resolved. So this is I don't know what's the real issue is, because get application context also return the context, and the this keyword also return the context. But okay, so the node is deleted. Okay, so when the node is deleted, we want this activity to finish, so we have to use finish here. Okay. Okay, so now the onResume method was called from the main activity, and since there was no data within the database, so it is also removed from the view. So this is exactly the behavior we wanted. Okay, so let's try some other node, save the value, and it is saved. Okay, view is working, delete is working, so the only issue is with update. So we have to go into this update activity. Now we need to check what's the real issue with this activity. Okay, so just try to create a simple form, name it as test.php. Okay, so I will, so that we can check our API. So we will create a simple form and we will give it an action, and our action would be to send the data to this URL. Okay, so to update note.php, okay, send the data, and the method would be post. Okay, and then there would be two inputs, input type, let's say text, and then name would be text. Okay, and then the second input is number. Okay, so now we can try this localhost sam and write noteApp, and then this test.php. Okay, so now we need to make a button so that we can send the data. Input type submit, let's say, and give it a value, check. Okay, so now just, okay, so the first one was the text field. Okay, so let's say we want to change this second ID, so second, and then let's type change. So open your inspect or console, okay, so that we can view the response from the server. So click on check button, updated error is false. Okay, so we are actually echoing here, so I guess this is the issue which we are receiving. Okay, and the node is created. Okay, we do not need to echo anything from here. Okay, so here is the response. So let's try. Okay, now let's check the database values. So the value is not changed. Guess this is an issue with our update query. So we have to check our update query here. Okay, so paste the query here and change the ID to 2, and let's say the text is changed. Okay, so how to execute this query now? Alt enter, or Okay, it's not executing it. Okay, so now control enter is the query to execute. Okay, so 0 rows affected, the query was executed but there was no change. Okay, so what's the issue? In our Android Note app, within this notes, now we want to execute this query. So let's just try select all from nodes where ID is 2. Okay, so actually 2 is there is no ID. Okay, so we have only 5 and 6 as ID, so we need to change this ID from here. Let's say 5. Okay, so now we need to click onto this check button. Okay, so now the value is changed in the database. So now we need to, okay, so the value is changed in the view as well. So let's try to change this value. So update the, okay, click on save, not updated. Let's try to refresh the browser. So it is not refreshing this note from Android. Okay, so the problem is we are returning the super.get params. Okay, so we have to return this param which we are creating here. Okay, now run the application again and I hope this time it will work. Okay, now try to update the note, save it. So here we are, it is now updating the values within the database and also within the view. Okay, so this is all we wanted from this application, so that we can learn how to develop our own APIs and how we can work with the API. Okay, so this was a very simple project. I hope you like it. If you have any query, you can comment it, or you can also comment onto my GitHub repository. Okay, thanks for watching.